What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. We got some good news for you today. And yes, we're going off topic. I'm talking about making a build for you guys. I've already made it, I've already ran it, I've already tested it. But I think it's time that I provide you guys with the information and show you exactly what I'm talking about. Get ready, keep those guns loaded, cause it's coming. Roll that intro. Now this build is insane for team play. As you guys can see in the clips, we are producing a lot of CC for the teammates. And I'm just letting you know that this is a hard build to kill, especially if you're running it right and playing it correctly. Don't sleep on this. Those pieces are infamous in the dark zone. It will help your team out so much. Too many people are focused on DPS and running one thing or all the same thing, guys. Switch it up. Play around with your builds. Do not be afraid to run the tank and be that bulky distraction and give the support to your team so they can finish the job. Not everybody has to have kills, guys. Keep that in mind. But with all that being said, you're welcome. Here we go, guys. Here is the build that I'm about to show you. This is that tank build that will give that support, and I feel like everybody needs to know what this is. Let's go. Yes, we are talking about 2-piece golem, 1-piece bellstone, tardigrade, hazard. It has it all. Let's get into it. Starting with the specialization. Specialization is gunner, and the reason why, gunner offers a lot. Also, it provides you with the Banshee Pulse. Now, this Banshee Pulse does apply disorient to people. It is a status effect that screws people up in the DZ, and I mean that with my whole heart. You hit somebody with this, they can't shoot, they can't aim, they can't walk. It lasts for a short period of time, but it's just enough time for them to get beamed. That's the reason why I run it. Do not sleep on this skill, it is amazing. Now for my secondary skill, I'm using a Stinger Hive. And the reason why is because a lot of people rely on strafing to get past anything that you're throwing at them. If you can slow them down, even for just a second, you can beam them out. Don't sleep on this either. Now let's get to the good stuff. My knee pads. I am rocking the Emperor's Guard. And here is why. Everybody knows that these bad boys have 1% armor regen on them. That is huge in the DZ to keep you alive. You're going to want a lot of armor regen for this build. A lot. As much as you can get. It also has maxed out armor and maxed out armor regen as well. Get as much armor regen on this build that you can. I wish these knee pads didn't have skill duration on it and it had something else, but it is what it is. Moving on. Secondly is the holster. We are rocking y'all. Yes, and we're doing that for the hazard protection. These are triple god rolled, maxed out armor, maxed out hazard, and maxed out armor regen on them. We want hazard as much as we can get because people like to foam, they like to shock, they like to use anything to stop you. And as a tank, you do no damage. So all you are there for is it to be a distraction and help your team with CC. It is great. Don't sleep on this. Secondly, or thirdly, I should say, we're talking about golem. These 2 pieces. And why do we want 2 pieces? For my gloves, we got maxed out armor, crit damage, and hazard on it. I wish this crit damage was removed and I had armor regen, but it's all I have. And for now, I gotta rock that. But 1-piece golem gives you 10% status effect, which will help with your Stinger Hive. And 2 pieces will allow that 1% armor regen. That's what you want. That gives you even more so you can survive. Now we're moving on to the backpack. We're talking about opportunistic. That's one of the reasons why I run this build. Now this is not god rolled. I have 154,000 armor, 11.4 crit damage. I have 4,600 armor regen and an ensnare resistance that will keep you from getting trapped in the foam. Use those, they're really good. Now opportunistic, you're probably like, COVID, why? Well, here's why. Enemies you hit with shotguns and marksman rifles applies. It amplifies the damage they take by 10% from all sources. That means from everybody that's putting damage on these targets. Yes, so when you're shooting somebody and you're focusing somebody, as you've seen in the clips and you're making callouts, as soon as this hits them, they take 10% amplified damage, which is going to help heavily and it's going to destroy them. This is a great talent for a tank build. If you have it, use it. I suggest it. Moving on to the mask. 1-piece Bellstone Armory. And here is why. Because of the armor regen. The armor regen is huge. This piece is almost maxed out. I got 165,000 armor regen. Armor. I got maxed out armor regen, hazard, and a bleed resistance mod. I'm using bleed resistance mods so people can't slow me down. I told you the hazard is going to help you. Moving on to the next. This is the crown jewel of the build. We're talking about tardigrade. Yes. And tardigrade is like a second life. It is like unbreakable for you and your allies. This is great for tank. Because whenever you or your allies' armor breaks, they gain 80% of your armor as bonus armor for 10 seconds. For every ally, it's 45 seconds for a cooldown. And if you kill an enemy with your specialization weapon, it removes this cooldown for allies. But this really only applies in PvE. For all you PvEers out there, use this when you're in a group and you're doing legendary missions or anything like that. It will support them. It will take the cooldown so you can get it right back. But in the DZ, this does not apply because we can't use that. It might work in conflict, but I have not tried it. So if you're ever thinking about using a tank build, use this template, mess around with it, try it out, let me know how you feel about it. It's a great build, it's really solid. Now we're talking about weapons. COVID, why are you using a Scorpio? Here is why. This thing is triple god rolled, but septic shock is why we're using it. Now, shooting a target applies stacks of venom, which lasts for 10 seconds every time you're shooting them. Increasing stacks adds more severe debuffs to the target. Once equals poison, 3 times equals disorient, 6 equals shock, and 7 after that, the target takes an additional 20% damage from all sources. And then the stacks don't go up anymore after that. The duration of the status effects is based on the percentage of pellets hit on applying shots. So the more shots you're hitting, the more pellets you're hitting. That's how the status effects is based on percentage. Now in the DZ, these change. We don't get shock and we don't get disorient. We do, however, after a few shots get foam. And you do get poison. So keep on shooting the targets as much as possible, because this gun will slow people down. It's a good deterrent. It's good for crowd control. Use it, guys. Secondary, I'm using my FAMAS, triple god rolled almost, and InSync. You already know what InSync does. If you're using a skill and shooting somebody at the same time, it is going to give you double, which would give you 30% weapon damage for 5 seconds. This is a great talent, great gun, but I don't ever use it that much. Now let's get into the stats. This build is not made to be out for damage. You need your team with you. Do not run this solo, because this is a team support build only. This is a great tank to suffice with 4 people in your group or however many there is. As you can tell, crit damage and crit chance are very low. Crit chance is only at 20% and crit damage is at 78%. So don't think you're going to be doing damage. It's not a damage build. This is to slow people down, to foam them, to put status effects on them, to give amplified damage to your teammates so they can finish the job. But what we are here for is for the defense. Look at that armor regen, 78,000. You are tanky, my guy. You are going to be very hard to kill. Very hard. Just allowing yourself to run around and regenerate so much armor and face tank people for your teammates to be a big distraction. Also, this build does provide 50% hazard protection. The hazard protection is going to soulfully help you out in the DZ, because people like to use foam to stop tanks and then shoot you with a shotgun. Put some hazard protection on this build. Do not forget that. With all my mods, my bleed resistance is at 68.2 bleed resistance. This means that I can suffice stinger hives. If they're like tier 6, it's still going to hurt and still going to slow me down, but at least it's going to let me get away a little bit faster. 50% blind, 50% burn, 50% disorient, 50% disrupt, 58 ensnare, and 50% poison, shock. Everything that people are going to be throwing at me in the DZ is going to be negated somewhat, but that's what makes this build amazing. So don't sleep on this build, guys. Make sure you use it, try it out, let me know. and drop a comment if you actually tried this, and then tell me how it works. Now look guys, I know that I don't do these videos often, and maybe I should do more. Let me know down below in the comments if I should keep making these type of videos for you guys, because I have some great ideas that I don't think anybody's ever ran across. And if you think it's a good idea, just let me know in the comments, and I'll start producing these videos for you guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Don't forget about that. Hit the notification bell too, so you cannot forget when I post videos every single week for you guys. But without further ado, I will catch you guys on the next segment, or let's just say the build video. I'm outro.